My guest today is Rhu Strand, a multi-award winning cake decorator, judge, sugar craft teacher, and she runs tutorials for cake decorating magazines, and she does her awesome French cake breaks that are cake decorating getaways in the southwest of France. Hello, Rhu.
Hello, Bettina.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
You're very summery.
Yeah, well, we managed to pick the two hottest days of the summer to shoot, right? So, well, what's missing from my intro? Like,
oh my goodness. Well, I won best. I don't know. I was listening, but I got a bit lost. So I won best in show for my Lola figure, who's a burlesque figurine, and I've won quite a few golds. I write tutorials for magazines. I film tutorials for you and a few other people, and I also what else do I do? Oh yeah, I run my holidays in France.
Yeah.
And I'm judging as well for one of the cake magazines. They're running a competition, so I'm a judge as well for that. So
that's great.
And I'm sure there's more, but I just really can't remember. I get a bit lost.
That's a lot already, right?
What's today? Who am I and where am I?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So how long have you been cake decorating?
I've been cake decorating about 6 years now. So yes, it's all gone in a bit of a whirlwind actually. And
whirlwind, yeah. Whirlwinds are good.
Yeah.
In so many different ways.
Yeah.
So, my first question would be, that's a tricky question. Okay, so what was your worst cake moment? When you already, like, you were about to give up completely on caking?
I made a birthday cake for somebody, and transporting is always the worst part of cake making. It's every cake decorator's nightmare. You get in that, you make that cake, it's on the table, it looks amazing. You put it in the car, in the boot or wherever, and you look at it and you think, oh no, I've got to drive that somewhere, and you know, it's the roads are not so good and all that sort of thing. And I made a tiered cake, and it was offset, so the tiers were offset. Luckily it was for a very good friend, and she was very good, and unfortunately they were film reels that I'd made, and there was also a band of film reel coming down the front of the cake.
That sounds complicated.
It all really went a bit wrong, and my partner, he opened the car and he looked at it and he just went, it's not survived. And it was a case of, it was in a pub, and we had to go behind the bar and get some glasses and prop the different tiers up. In fact, on the way, we made an emergency stop at his mum's, who had a bit of icing sugar that I tried to make into a paste. Lessons learned here, always take your repair kit. And I tried to repair it, and I have to admit, hands up, that I actually used, because it was black, this cake, some black electrician's tape to mend the bits on the front. As I say,
oh well,
they were friends.
Creative.
And they were very understanding, but and I really just thought, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I doing this? But lessons learned. Make sure your cake is going to stand up to being traveling.
That's pretty like amazing. Yeah, that's the start of the whirlwind, right?
Yeah.
So what was your profession before caking? And do you remember the moment when you decided that you wanted to do caking, and how did you actually get into this?
Well, years ago, I was in the Navy. I was in the Royal Navy.
In the Navy?
Yeah, I was a
actually.
Oh yes, yeah. So my logo is all part of that. Yes, my mermaid, yes, is all part of that. It's kind of like a tribute to my Navy past. Not that I have her as a tattoo, but somebody suggested I should. So it's like traditional sort of Navy style tattoo. Anyway. I was in the Navy. I was a mum for many, many years. I've done all sorts of jobs. I've worked in local council, in HR, so human resources, in the media department, and very excitingly, I worked in waste management, where we organised all the rubbish and everything. So yeah, that might have been part of the reason I left and started making cakes. But When my children turned 18 and 21, I'd always made their cakes when they were little, dabbling at things, making a huge mess of everything because way back then, my daughter's 28, she'll kill me for saying that, but way back then...
Just don't mention her weight.
No, I won't, no. She's gorgeous. There was no internet, there was no access to any of this, so you just relied on books from the library and you read it and you thought, no, that'll be fine. I'll just do this, I'll just use the liquid colourings from the supermarket and make a great big gloopy mess. Anyway, then I went to work, and then when they turned 18 and 21, I decided, because they were within 3 weeks of each other, those birthdays, expensive time, I decided Mum had to make them another cake. And so I went, and we had the internet then, and I went to look at cakes because my son's into Star Wars and my daughter was into cupcakes and all that sort of thing. And I was like, wow, look at all this. And I made a giant
brand new world
thing. Yeah, it was a brand new world. A giant tiered cupcake for Rachel, and I made a standing Yoda for Patrick, and it was one of my first things that I'd done in cake, and that was it. I was hooked. And people asked me to start making cakes, and eventually I left work and took it up full time. So yes, and since then, in the 6 years, it's just crazy and just amazing, and I'm just blown away by everything that's happened with it all. So obviously the right move.
Okay, matching question. What was your best caker moment, the most triumphant, or a moment of epiphany that you realized something big, or like what was the moment in these 6 years?
I think that has to be when I won Best in Show at Cake International with Lola. There's without a doubt, I don't know how I'm going to top that. I really didn't expect to win. I was amazed that I got a gold. I was amazed I got first in class, and I was convinced, because the other cakes that I was up against were amazing, and I was convinced it was not going to be me, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away when I won, and it's really been amazing since, actually.
And it's even a better feeling when the competition is of high standard, and then you come out as
there was. I really the pieces I was up against were just absolutely stunning, and I couldn't understand why I had won, but obviously everybody loved Lola, and so I did something right there.
Okay, speaking of the characters.
Yes.
So you've shot 4 videos, 4 tutorials with us.
Yes.
So would you mind just saying a couple of words about all of them?
Okay.
I know that what I love is that you all of your characters have their own names.
Yes.
Maybe their stories.
Yes.
So here we have
Myrtle.
them. Yeah.
This is Myrtle the mermaid. As I say, she's pretty much based on my logo and on one of the pieces I did for Cake International a few years ago and got a gold for her. And I have been teaching her as a class, but I have also had quite a lot of emails asking me, have you got a tutorial for this? So I thought that would be quite a good one to include in the little batch that I've just done.
I love the hair.
In the on trend.
Yeah.
We've got this tonal kind of hair going on. Yes. Well, there's a name for this, but I can't think what it is.
It's rainbow hair galaxy hair.
Galaxy hair. That was it.
And the galaxy scales.
The galaxy scales. Yes. All that. Yes. That didn't take too long to do.
No, just a couple of hours.
Yeah. So, but that was good fun. Loved making her, and really pleased the way she's turned out. This is Grandpa Charlie, and he's based on a piece that I did previously for a collaboration to celebrate 50 years of the original film of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I think he's actually Grandpa Joe, but I'm going to call him Grandpa Charlie because I had a Grandpa Charlie, and not that he ever swung round posts. No, that was not his thing. But yes, he's swinging around a post. And I enjoyed making him as well. He was something quite different for me to do. So, and then we have Penny the Little Piglet, and she's sort of based on some sort of vintage toys. She's been well loved and handled, and she's a little bit grubby in places, but that's okay because she's still well loved and she's being kept as a little.
Actually, I have toys like
yeah,
her age.
Yes, I have as well. Yeah, actually, if I confess that, which is 20 plus years.
But yeah, so we have Myrtle,
yeah,
Grandpa Charlie, Penny
the Piglet, yes, and we have Roger the Ringmaster up there in all his glory. He was made for a production I was involved in, not a theatre production, but a sugar show production with a team of other bakers. We did a cake carnival at Cake International earlier this year, and he was part of the exhibits that were involved in that, and everybody made their own sort of theme. We had different rooms, and he was in the circus room, so presenting everybody. So that's Roger the Ringmaster, and so my pieces, there's not an awful lot of cake that I use in them. I'm more about sculpting with the sugar paste. I actually just love using the sugar paste to sculpt with. It's a really good medium to use for that. But I do discuss how you could include Roger. You can include cake in Roger. He's got rather a large tummy, and there'd be quite a bit of cake involved in that. So
yeah,
there's plenty of cake in that. But the others are more about
plenty of space for cake.
Yes, plenty of space for cake. He's eaten far too much cake by the looks of him. The others are about making pieces, keeping them, like Penny the Piglet. She could be kept as a memento because so many people want to keep the pieces these days. They don't necessarily want to eat the bits that you make for them. So I come more from that angle and about teaching different skills.
This is actually the question that not cake decorators, but that we get from outsiders. That why would you if it's a cake contest, why would you make non-edible items? Yeah. And this is the reason why you make non-edible items. That not everyone wants to eat the whole cake; they want to keep it.
Yeah. Well, usually when I made cakes, what I found over the years, because I always included a figure on my cakes, and that was about enabling me to practice the work and everything like that. So I always made a figure, and over the years I always was fixated on it has to be edible. So but what would happen is things would fall to bits. I did a Tour de France cycle and a little chap, and he had his arms raised, and I drove him down the motorway, and he was sat next to me in a box, and as we went down the motorway jiggling, his arms fell off. Again, luckily, for somebody I knew, so I spent about an hour in her kitchen with all sorts of cocktail sticks trying to fix this little figure back together. And what I also found was I would make bride and groom couples, and people would return them to me, and one particular piece was returned to me a year and a half later saying, it's been in my kitchen in a plastic box, it's all broken, can you mend it, because we want to keep it. And you start to think, well, actually people aren't eating these, why am I so hung up on them being edible? And then of course they introduced these regulations where you had to write down everything that has the allergy, all the different things like that, and what the recipe was, or the ingredients in the cake and the colours that you used. So that was an ideal opportunity to include a part on there where you say that they signed this to understand what you're giving them, to say that they understand that the figures you're making are not edible. So, and that really then becomes down to them, that they ensure that they're not eaten. Yeah. I think for a child's cake it can be a little bit different, but particularly for an adult's, they wanted to keep the pieces. Okay. So
this is about our designs and our mutual project. So what are your projects that are going on, right now or in the future, in the near future? Obviously, you're gonna meet at Cake International,
yes.
Birmingham, but what else is going on in your cake life?
I have to think. Where am I? Who am I?
And where, most importantly, where can your fans or your students meet you in person?
Well, I will be at Cake International. I teach a lot around the UK at different venues, and I also run cake decorating holidays, as you mentioned. So they're very small, personal classes. They run for a week. It's ladies only, I'm afraid, just because of the way the accommodation is, but that's the way it is.
What about the guys?
Well, they have asked, but the proportions are, you know, the statistics. There's so many ladies come, and I actually have.
We need more guys to fill up the spaces,
We do,
and then you
absolutely.
can have like guys
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be brilliant. They can learn all the hardware behind
Cake
it as well.
cave.
Cake cave. Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. But yeah, they come again and again. I have a lady. This will be a 4th year this year. So yes, it's all very good. They're good fun, those holidays. What else am I doing? I'm judging one of the competitions for one of the magazines at the end of the year. I write tutorials, so I've got a regular contract to write for Cake Decoration and Sugarcraft magazine, and I run regular modelling classes, generally in the south of the UK. I've got one in North London, sort of 6 weekly. They're just short 2-hour projects, and I have ladies come to no gentlemen actually at the moment. No, we don't. All ladies, but they come on a regular basis. And we do short little projects, and they love it. They absolutely love doing it, and I enjoy them as well. So, yes.
Okay, so if you can afford to go to Rhu's classes, just go there because it's great fun.
Yeah.
If you cannot, come to us.
I've got a website, so that's.
You also have a website,
and Facebook page as well. So
yeah.
You can see me doing silly little videos.
Yeah. I love your live streaming videos.
Yeah.
On Facebook. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So what would be your parting advice for our students?
My parting advice would be always have a go, and don't think you can't do it. Have a go, and even if it doesn't work out quite how you expect it to in the first place, try again and practice, and don't be put off. I haven't got any photographs here of the first figures I made, but if you saw them, you would see that they were just a round head, and I rolled a ball and I put some eyes in, and I used a pokey tool thing to make the mouth. So the mouth was like that, and then I thought, well, it's a mouth that needs to be red, so I painted it red, put it onto the cake, and my partner turned around and went, it does look really wrong, because it was a cake for guides and brownies, and because I do guides as well in my spare time, and it was a brownie, and he said she looked like a blow-up doll. I vowed from then on, sorry, I would improve my figures.
I pictured it in my mind.
Yes, it was a brownie, it was a child, and he just looked so wrong, and so from that point on, I decided every cake would have a figure, and every cake I would improve what I did. And obviously the journey, it took quite a few years to get there, but it paid off in the end, and I've enjoyed all of it. So
that's an awesome advice. Practice,
yeah.
and don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah, don't embarrass yourself making blow-up brownies.
Okay, thank you. It was brilliant having you here, and
Thank
I
you.
hope to work together in the future.
That'd be lovely. Thank you very much.
Hello,
Thank you.
cakers. Bye.
Bye.